We start the conversation with ASUU, the meeting between the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, and the Nigerian government, which held on Tuesday, the 16th of August, once again ended without a resolution, which means that the 6-month-old strike by the public university lecturers is set to continue, despite continuous pleas by members of the union. The striking lecturers who met with the Professor Nimi Briggs Committee on Tuesday at the National University Commission in Abuja with high hopes of resolving this lingering strike, yet again reached a deadlock with no resolution to the issues laid down.
Recall that ASUU embarked on a 4-week warning strike earlier this year on February 14, 2022, and on March 14th extended the industrial action by another 2 months to allow the government meet all of its demands. A 12-week extension was announced on May 9th, and this strike has continued, with the union vowing to persist until its demands are met. To discuss the issues highlighted and the way forward this morning is the chairman, ASUU Unilag Chapter, Dele Ashiru. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Ashiru.
Thank you very much for this invitation. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right. Let's start with the Briggs Committee. We hear that it has submitted a draft agreement to the government, but the Ministry of Labor and Employment accused ASUU of fixing its salaries and entitlements in the draft. And of course, this is an allegation that ASUU has denied. Can you give us any insights on this?
Well, like you rightly said, it is an unfounded tale from, somebody who is expected to be a conciliator, who have decided to take side, and in taking sides, he did not consider the constitutional role which he ought to play in terms of ministering to the welfare of Nigerians. Having said that, it is important to note that it's not only unbelievable, it is laughable for the Minister of Labor to accuse a trade union of fixing its own salaries. What we know and what we are used to is that following the ILO convention and the principles of collective bargaining between an employer and an employee, an employer is bound by the conditions of service that is prevalent where he works by the time he's been recruited. But immediately after his recruitment, subsequent conditions of service must be subjected to what is called collective bargaining. What our union is therefore demanding from government is that we should be given an opportunity to collectively, and in this instance our union and government, negotiate our conditions of service in such a way that is globally competitive and can meet up to what we have described as the African approach.
One point of contention for the academics is the non-payment of university revitalization funds, which amounts to about 1.1 trillion naira, which the federal government has said it doesn't have a budget for, citing low oil prices during the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration as a setback. Recently, we had Festus Keyamo asking parents to beg ASUU to return to school, or to beg ASUU to allow their children come back to school. Is the union putting any, consideration into the fact that these challenges are being experienced by the government, and is there any intention to meet the government halfway?
Well, you see, when you say that government can't meet the demands of us, the question that we ask is that as this same government declared austerity measure, has government reduced the almost profligate salaries and allowances? Has government stopped frivolous donations, to foreign countries when there are pressing needs for, critical human resource development issues in Nigeria? Nigeria can't meet the demands of us, but Nigeria can donate 1 million naira to Afghanistan and also donate 1.4 billion, to Niger Republic, and spending humongous amount of money in other countries where there are pressing demands at home. The conviction of our union is that if government blocks the leakages in government, blocks corruption, the Accountant General of the Federation, who once told us that there was no alternative to IPPIS, is today languishing in Kuje prison after helping himself to about 170 billion. If, government decides to collect the monies owed Nigeria by their friends and cronies, which is currently hanging in AMCON, there will be enough resources in Nigeria to fund education. And let me say that the question of begging ASUU is an argument. I mean, that is sorry. It is the federal government that must be. This is 13 years running. We have been receiving the same salary since 2009 till date. Our students are learning under excruciating and very unfriendly environment. And to hear a minister that now becomes so ridiculously reductionist to the point of subjecting these grandiose issues to the question of begging, then it means that we really have a long way to go in terms of the recruitment processes for people who are in public offices.
Okay, well, I want to, look at this on a personal level now, a human, angle level. Lecturers have been on, at home for long enough. A couple of them, of course, are also dealing with, not being able to receive salaries. Is ASUU willing to go all the way with the federal government without backing down for any reason? And is it seeming like this strike just may never come to an end? And of course, I want you to put in mind what this is doing to, the educational system, and of course, to the lecturers who, currently are just sitting back at home doing nothing.
Well, you see, intellectuals are ascetic persons. Yes, we are at great pains. Our families, our dependents, and all that, are very, very dissatisfied with, not receiving salaries. But you see, we as intellectuals, as organic intellectuals in the society, we look at the global picture. We look at the larger picture. The larger picture is to back down and allow government to destroy the last vestiges of public university system in Nigeria. We back down and allow government, to turn our universities, our commonwealth, into places of dishonor. So our members have made up their mind to continue this sacrifice, to continue this suffering foisted on us by the Buhari administration until government sees the need to do what is right in the education sector. Look, I tell you, Nigerian lecturers are the least paid when you take an African average. Our universities are becoming glorified secondary schools on account of neglect. And the reason why government is doing this is to successfully discredit public universities and then sell it to their friends and cronies. As I speak with you, we are on strike. Government is busy licensing private universities. How many Nigerians whose take home as minimum wage is 30,000 naira can afford the kind of fees that they pay in private universities? So yes, the suffering is huge. 6 months ongoing, there's no salary. But I can tell you on behalf of our members that our minds are made up that at least for once we get this government to do what is great funding of the insensitivity of government. This year, there was a strike action by the university teachers in the United Kingdom. The government worked round the clock to ensure that that strike is brought to a quick closure. In Ghana here, there was a strike. Also this year, within a couple of weeks, government negotiated with them and get the universities open. Bear in mind that there was a time that university teachers were on strike for 2 years in Ghana until they got it right. So if government wants to close Nigerian universities for 2 years, they should take notice that our colleagues are prepared to go the long haul for once to get sanity into the university system.
All right, Mr. Dele, I'd like you to please shed some light on this. We did hear reports that the agenda for the meeting on Tuesday, which unfortunately ended in a deadlock, was the renegotiation of 2019 agreement, and that the government had agreed to implement the UTAS as a payments platform for the Nigerian lecturers. Can you confirm this?
Well, first, it is true that the meeting of Tuesday was to discuss renegotiation. We have received government proposals. Our leaders are currently reviewing it. In the coming days, branches in Nigerian universities will brief our members in line with our tradition and let them know what proposals government is bringing forward.
Okay, but
once that is done, resolutions will be taken that will now inform the union's position to government.
But has the government agreed, Mr. Dele, has the government agreed to implement UTAS as the payments platform as against the IPPIS?
I cannot confirm that government has agreed. What the president of ASUU told the world is that at the meeting directed by the president at the instance of the chief of staff to the president, it was agreed at that meeting that the three payment platforms in contention be tested, and whichever one is certified the best will be adopted. As I speak with you, all of the three payment platforms have been tested. UTAS came a distant first, and all of the two others, are just there. They could not match up to UTAS by the admission of NITDA. So if government will be true to its words for the first time, it is assumed, that going by that presidential declaration, UTAS, should be implemented in lieu of IPPIS.
All right.
But I am saying this because there has not been any official communication from government to our union indicating that UTAS has now been accepted as payment platform in Nigerian universities.
All right. The chairman, ASUU UNILAG chapter, Dele Ashiru, thank you so much for your time this morning. We did enjoy speaking with you and look forward to you bringing you on again.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure always to be on this station. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much for your interest in our struggles.
Okay. And of course, to our viewers across the continent and across the world, we are still, of course, sharing with you a poll this morning. It's on our Twitter page. We're asking about the ASUU conversation. Should ASUU consider calling off its 6-month-old strike? This was posted a while ago. Of course, you can vote, call it off. No, demands must be met, or indifferent.
I'm interested to see those who voted indifferent don't care, the 8% that has voted indifferent don't care. Now, for those who voted yes, call it off, of course, I certainly would feel like these are more of the students who are tired of staying at home. Although some of them have started looking for side jobs to keep them busy. And there are arguments for and against. It's just very sad to see how our students are taking the fall for this, and our lecturers are suffering as well because they're unable to pay their salaries. We're hoping that education will be prioritized in Nigeria.
The argument, would always be, if you call it off, most people are asking that they call it off because they just want to, get it over with. Let me get over, get this whole education thing over with, get my degree and leave. But ASUU is saying that whatever degree you're getting, you're getting at the expense of lecturers that are poorly paid, first, and then second, it's it's poor level of education, and you would eventually get to other countries and realize that you almost learn it's the barest minimum of education that you were able to, receive down here in Nigeria, and that's what they're trying to fix. So if you want to just get it over with, it reminds us that a lot of Nigerians go to school really just because they want to get a degree. A lot of them don't come out and realize that, okay, yes, I've been properly and 100% educated in this field or the other. It's just to get that degree. Anyway, for Oregon, so remember to find it on our Twitter page. Yes, call it off. No demands must be met, or indifferent. Don't care.